Hey ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to review the Book of Dead Names, Volume 1, by the Baron and Baroness Araignee. If I mispronounced that, I apologize. When it comes to the books that are created by the Baron and Baroness, they're pretty potent. I've read a few, like the Black Book of Belahul, the Gospel of Ghouls, the Hexagrammaton, and the ones that I have worked through have been pretty potent. There are some that seem to work as talismanic tomes, like the Black Book of Belahul, where even if you don't work through it, it kind of has this energy to it, and it will draw certain spirits to you, including Belial. So this particular one right here deals with basically evoking demons from a place called Dis. And these are not like goetic demons or any kinds of demons that you've really dealt with, that I've really dealt with personally, because as opposed to like having conversations and kind of being able to joke with some of the beings that are usually documented, these beings have not been documented except in this book, and for the most part they are just business. But we'll talk about that later. I just want to talk about the book. First of all, the book is, you should probably get it in hardcover, because I personally use it a lot, and softcover would kind of probably fall apart, because I do use this quite a bit. These books are kind of expensive, so if you can only get softcover, it's understandable. But this is definitely worth the investment. I think they get this printed through Lulu, but the quality has always been good with the books, so that's appreciated. As for the books, there's never any fluff with the Baron and Baroness. What they do is they get straight to the point. Everything that they explain when it comes to the rituals or the meditations within is simple. Okay, so somebody, it's very hard to screw up. A lot of their stuff, which I appreciate, is not necessarily for beginners or dabblers, as they would put it. A lot of stuff on Magick out there is just 101 beginner stuff. But when you've been in the game for a bit, like I have, because I've been at it for around 20 years now, you get tired of all the beginner 101 stuff. Like, you get it. The foundations are pretty much the same wherever you go, whether you're left-hand path, right-hand path, whatever. And then I've been through so much stuff that it's just like a repeat. And I wouldn't even call it a refresher, because it's just kind of boring, So with this actually introduces something new. And I actually read it in one sitting. Like, how many pages are here? You got 152 pages. Okay, so it was interesting. I read it in one sitting, and as soon as I read it, I decided to do a ritual and evoke one of these beings. Now, these beings are supposedly demonic. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are malevolent, although you can use them for malevolent purposes. They come off as neutral for me, and that may be because I am used to dealing with creatures like these, entities, because I've come upon lots of creatures that are considered demons. Okay, so they come off as neutral for me. Their presence doesn't necessarily scare me, as it may do for some. It's kind of like you feel them, you ask them for what you want, and then you just end the ritual. Very rarely do I have conversations, or do I even talk about their nature. However, their nature is discussed in the book. It talks about how some of them may have been human. So it would be easier to work with these types of entities because they would understand the human experience. However, not all of them are necessarily human. Just recently, I did ask two of these beings whether they were human. One said probably, the other one said no. Okay. When it comes to offerings, these beings are transactional. So if you do not bring an offering to them, they will take from you. And it's usually energy. For me, it's been energy. If I don't have an offering, I notice that I get tired after evoking an entity because they take my energy. Now, in the book, it talks about how you can offer meat, or you can even try to offer things like fruit to them and stuff like that, and kind of experiment and see what they like. I usually offer, well, I've only offered either my blood. You can offer sexual fluids as well, because it says that it helps them to manifest when you give them offerings of life. So I believe that they come every single time because they respect the offerings when you offer of your own life force. So that's why I only make those types of offerings. And it doesn't have to be a lot of blood. It's just, you take one of those diabetic lancets, you prick your finger, you put a small drop on there, and they'll come. Okay. The book also talks about how when they do come, they're not your friends, okay? And they're not necessarily accepting your offer. They may scan you, and they will scan you, and figure out what type of a person you are, okay? So it's like they imprint upon you. Even after you've closed the ritual, you may feel the energetic presence afterwards, because they may come back and just hang around you. I've had that happen once or twice. What else can I say? I just like when there are other ways of evoking or contacting these beings, usually through shamanic exercises, but the ritual within is probably the most potent. You will definitely, if you do it right, you will definitely feel a presence every single time, and it will be strong. You will know when that entity that you've called upon is there. Okay. I've done some work. I've only worked with about 6 entities so far. Okay, none of them has come up as malevolent. None of them has given me any problem. But don't dismiss anything that's within this book, because there's a lot of warnings. Okay, whenever you're dealing with unknown spirits, you do have to be careful. However, they will surprise you. I've had one of these beings, quote the Bible, because there's one in here that kind of initiates you into a dark path. And so I was asking for reinitiation, and it told me to read a Bible scripture. So that kind of threw me off. But that was good because it was something new. And we label these entities as demons, and we expect them to act in a certain way or present themselves in a certain way. But this shows that they have different aspects. And they're not necessarily evil, but they're neutral. Even though they took energy from me when I didn't have an offering, I didn't see them as evil for doing it. What they do is because these are necromantic entities, according to the book, they need that life force in order to manifest. Okay. So definitely, if you have the chance, get the book. The soft cover is going to be $80, and then there's going to be shipping and handling. For me, the shipping and handling was $25, so it came out to $105. Okay. There are a lot of books that are a lot more expensive, like if you go on eBay. But the difference between the books by the Baron and Baroness is that you know they're going to work if you work through them and you take the time to follow their instructions. Books on Amazon, books on eBay, you don't know. Okay. Books on those sites, they may or may not include fluff, because there's a lot of authors out there that just want to make big books so they can make the big bucks, and they want to sound smart. Like these two, they make it simple, they put it in simple language, and they're no nonsense. So definitely buy their literature if you want to become a serious occultist. All right. So this is Zero Cathos, just signing off. Hope you're doing good. And keep up your studies and keep up the truth seeking. Peace.